I see you got another Honda. A Pilot. This is nice. Now you've got two Hondas. Oh no. Oh no. No. Civic Type R had to go. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. You know, wife suggested, and of course I agree too, that we need an upgrade, and it just made sense to go with another Honda. The dealer had great rates for this. It's beautiful, and you know what? I didn't lose any money, which is great. It's a win-win. Yeah, that's great. You didn't lose any money on the Civic Type R. That's yeah, no, it's great. It was a Mustang. Yeah, that's gone. Yeah. Why? What happened? It's gone. You know, we're expecting a child, you know, and yeah, the wife suggested, and of course, same thing. I do agree. It makes sense, and she said we should upgrade to something else, and it made sense to go with another Ford. And you know, I've always wanted an Explorer, so this was kind of like the perfect time. Of course. Yeah, it's great. Marriage is great, right? It's the best. It's yeah, it's the best for sure. Yeah, marriage is great. It's great. Anyways, see ya. Okay, have a good one, eh? Today we're going to take a look at two very popular three-row SUVs. The first one is the 2025 Ford Explorer ST line, which now has a new facelift on the outside, like the grille, the headlights, and also on the inside. This is the type of vehicle that everybody questions when they see one on the highway. Is it a police cruiser, or is it just another soccer mom, or is it just a crazy dad that wanted this to scare people on the road? And then we have, on this side, the Honda Pilot Black Edition, another popular three-row SUV. This, on the other hand, looks like a dad that loves rock and roll or metal music. A day doesn't go by where I don't see 15 or 20 Explorers on the road. It's probably one of the most popular three-row SUVs out there, and why not? It's pretty cool. I mean, on the outside, everybody on the left lane will just move into the proper lane once they see you behind, because they're trying to guess, is this another police car checking my license plate? I love this, but I also love the ST version, which is the V6 twin turbo. The one that we have for today's video, it's a 4-cylinder engine, which I must say, it's pretty good. The exterior offers a lot of blacked out features like the grille, the badge, for example. We've got the fender lines, we've got the mirrors. Same thing at the back. Meanwhile, on this side, we've got the Honda Pilot. This is the Pilot Black Edition, and let's see who's going to answer this question. Why is it called the Black Edition? Anybody? No one? Okay, I'll answer that. Well, you probably realized that by now. We've got black trim over here, the grille, we've got the wheels, we've got the mirrors, the rails at the top, same thing at the back, and that's why it's called the Black Edition. Sometimes manufacturers make up stuff like that because they just run out of ideas, so let's just call it the Black Edition. Now, when you think about the Black Edition, you think that the car has a black color on the outside, but it's not. You can pick different colors. It's just the trim is called the Black Edition. I found something. Okay, I want to see which one has the biggest grille. Okay, that's the Ford Explorer. Oh my God, look at that. This was made for the, it's the exact size. Look at that. Now, let's check out the Pilot. They're the same size. Okay, someone was checking out the files of the Ford, or someone from Ford was checking out the files of, because look, that's the same size. Crazy, right? Anyways, let's go to the back. The back of the Ford, it's quite interesting because now it's a facelift. So we've got this bar across that says Explorer, really popping, and the taillights are different. We've got the badge there because this is a 4-wheel drive, so you don't confuse it with an all-wheel drive. With this package, we've got the tow hook in the back. There's no exhaust tips, just a glossy black finish, and that's about it. Now, the Pilot on the other side, they're trying to make this thing different and make it look like more sporty. And what they've done is fake exhaust tips right here. Chrome finish, so that when you walk into a dealership, you're like, oh, that's nice. It's got some exhaust tips. And then we've got some blacked out finish at the top, the same thing with the bar in the center, and very flush design with the taillights. I kind of like this. It's nice and clean, and you've got the badges blacked out as well because it's a black edition. And how do you know that? Well, there's a badge on that side that says black edition. Now, which one do I like out of the two? Really don't care. They do the same job. They're three-row SUVs, so it doesn't really matter. One of my favorite tests that I like to do is this test that I'm standing right here, because you'd be surprised, not all SUVs are the same, like especially with the tailgate. So that's the maximum you can open the Honda Pilot tailgate. And I've got some space in here. So let's check out the Ford. Okay, first of all, the Ford doesn't have a hands-free tailgate. I've tried this all day with this package. I'm assuming with the ST version or the Platinum you get that. The ST line doesn't. Nope. No, okay, so I'm just gonna open it automatically. And let's see. I'm interested to see on the Ford. Okay, I'm gonna try softly. That's the maximum. I think like the Ford has a bit more space, maybe? A little bit more, right, Anthony? Like you can see it from there, just a bit more. A couple inches more, right? They matter. Since these are three-row SUVs, we don't know how much space that they offer. And the first one is the Honda Pilot. Now, I have everything we have today, all the equipment, all the bags are right in here. On paper, this offers behind the third row about 18.6 cubic feet of space. Meanwhile, the Explorer, 18.2. So they're not far off. And one of the biggest things with this is that the way it is designed, so you get more space, there's more wide space in here. Now, let's try to close it. And with the Honda Pilot, you have one button located onto this side, which with the package here, I don't think I can reach. There we go. It's right at the center, right at the edge here. You press that, and then you walk away. You've got a couple of seconds, and it automatically closes. Let's see. That's perfect. The Honda Pilot showed us that it has good amount of space, and it's pretty wide. We learned something about this. So as you can see, the space is very similar. The difference is that in the Pilot, this is wider, not so much here. This is higher. That's the difference. You've got a taller trunk space in here compared to the Honda Pilot, and that's the first thing we noticed. Now, the test is, can we close it with this package that we have here? Well, let's test it out. Done. So, what we learned? Well, we learned that they're both very similar, just the way they're designed. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Ford Explorer, you can fold the third row automatically. You've got the buttons over here. You press that and it folds, which is quite handy. The Pilot is the old-fashioned way. You pull this lever over here, like that, and then you can just fold them all the way down. It also comes with this. This is your rubber mat for the trunks, and then it says Pilot at the end. But what's important is the fact that you can use it all the way to the third row. I like this. I know you guys love this part. You want me to check out the third row. Everybody, it's the same thing. Now, to get into the third row in the Pilot, you've got a button located onto the back of this, and then press that and it moves forward. Having said that, you can make this completely flat in case if you want to have access to the entire area, and it's flat all the way to the third, well, behind the third row. So in this case, we're gonna get into the third row. Let me check this one here. It's not snowing anymore. Thank God for that. And here you go. Now, the first thing I noticed with this is that it's got space in here. And let's move this bad boy all the way to the back. It's not bad. It's actually not bad. There's enough space. I've done this like probably a million times for this car. It's not bad. We've got two cup holders. There's a USB-C port located right there, one on the other side. It's actually not bad. It's pretty decent, I have to say, especially like lots of headroom. And to get out, you press that button, you move the seat forwards, and you come out like that. So far, not bad. into the Explorer ST line. First of all, you can do the same thing here. You can fold it completely. That way you can make use of the space. But to move it forward, it's got a manual lever. You pull it at the top, and first thing I notice, it is slightly tighter in here to get in. It's compared to the Pilot, but let's see the third row. Mind you, I'm 6'2", so that gives you an idea how much space you get. There we go. Is it all the way? It is, it seems like. Sorry. Okay, so here we are. It's actually about the same, right, Anthony? Roughly about the same. There's space, it's comfortable. There's one cup holder here, one on that side. We've got no USB ports in here or USB-Cs. USB-Cs on this side, 2 of them. Not sure why they went 2 on that side, but nothing on this side. I don't understand this. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. And headroom is pretty nice. There's a light at the top. Visibility, larger windows in the Honda. That's one thing I noticed. It's a little bit darker here because of this massive pillar on the sides. This could have been a bit larger, but of course different design. And to get out, again, a little bit tighter compared to the Honda Pilot. That was okay. I'm okay. Okay, to the Pilots. First of all, I'm gonna have to like duck down a little bit into this because it doesn't offer a lot of headroom for me. First thing you notice, we've got a sunshade on this side. This thing has a lot of cup holders, like on this side. There's also in the middle. But the biggest advantage that the Honda Pilot has compared to the Explorer, it's this seat in the second row. See, this can become into an armrest with 2 cup holders and extra space. But you can also do something else. And I'm gonna try to remember, because I've done it before. In case if that bothers you, guess what? You can remove this completely out. And now you got yourself space here, which is pretty handy. In fact, you could probably put a baby car seat in the middle instead of that, and then just use the straps on this side. And you've got the hooks in the back as well to make it even more safe, but essentially that's what the Honda offers. You've got that, and okay, there we go. Look at that. It's pretty smart. I like the idea of what they've done. And that's it. There you go. Or, like, look at that. It's pretty handy. Tech features. It has heated seats for both passengers in the back, which you can use when it's cold. And you also get a climate unit. You can lock this in case if you have kids and you don't want them to use it. It has a single one. And underneath here, we've got 2 USB ports. There's 115 volts in case if you want to make use of that, which is nice and handy. And you can also twist this thing. It moves like that. You can lock it so that way kids do not play. Okay, into the Ford Explorer. If you want to move the seats, you can do the same on both cars, back and forth. So it's easy access. So let's talk about this. Lots of space. When it comes to the overall space, these two vehicles are very similar, very close in terms of headroom, legroom, second row, and even third row. Very similar, with the Honda having a little bit of an edge for the second row and the third row, but not too far off. As you can see, like I'm 6'2", lots of space, lots of legroom. This one also has a sunshade. There's some cup holders. You've got one over there. You have another one over here, some space in here, and you've got some space here on the door handle. We've got a climate unit control in the back. It says Explorer, so the passengers know that it's an Explorer. You can turn it on. There's heated seats for both sides with 2 levels, unlike the Honda that has 3 levels. There's no screen here to tell you the temperature, but you can probably figure that out with this knob over here. And you've got the vent speeds. Underneath that, we've got 2 USB-C ports and a 110 volt plug, in case if you want to use it with anything. It doesn't have a lock system for kids, but because it doesn't have anything in the middle, you've got 2 cup holders in there which are hidden. Kind of like this. Okay, let's jump into the fronts and let's talk first about the Honda. The Honda, it's an interesting design. They've actually taken a lot of pieces from an Honda Civic and just thrown them in here, and they've made it as simple as possible. They didn't have to work too hard. They're like, the interior doesn't matter, we just have to make it comfortable and add some features. They didn't think a lot about the things here. It just went simple way. Like, we've got a small screen in there, not too crazy, not too big, something you don't find in most SUVs now. They all have like giant screens, which I kind of appreciate. They've got buttons, tons of buttons, so if you like buttons, this might be the best option. In some ways, this is kind of like a throwback to the old Hondas, but with a modern touch. Like the steering wheel, you get buttons in the center. Over here, even the shift knob, you get buttons. So they're kind of like outdated for some people, but something that some other people like. Let's start it up. You've got a push start button. Here you go. We have a digital screen in there. Not the fanciest and not the craziest layout, just good enough. We've got this screen in the center, which I believe is a 9-inch. It's not the biggest out of the two. And it is touch screen with some buttons located onto the side. So if you don't want to use a touch screen, you can just use the normal buttons. It's pretty easy. The good news is that you've got a 360 camera with this package, which is nice and handy, as you can see. Small screen, but it does the job. And you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can connect automatically, which is nice and handy. It does have a built-in navigation, but it does have a cabin talk. So for example, you don't have to raise your voice to talk to people in the back because it uses a microphone in here and sends that through the speakers in the back, which is, I'd say, nice and handy to have. And we've got other features like display mode, smart shortcuts, nothing too crazy, very simple. Again, some people might enjoy that, but that's about it. This is equipped with a large armrest. In fact, you can fit 2 arms in here, no problem. Like that, no issue. And there's some space underneath there, if in case you want to store that baby food or anything like diapers, whatever. Into the Ford Explorer ST line. This is sort of like the mellow version of the ST, like mild version, not a hot sauce. First of all, when you jump into the Explorer ST compared to the Honda, well, you're welcomed by a very different design and a bit more shouty and a bit more premium feel. Like, for example, we've got an entire sound bar across in here from B&O, which is the audio system in this one is far better than the Honda, period. There's no discussion. The B&O in this one, it's superb. And then we've got a nice steering wheel, which is nice and grippy. It's more sporty because it's the ST line. Honda doesn't have a Type R version of that, unfortunately. So you get what you get. And then we've got a larger screen in the center. But let's start it up. Now, when you jump inside, you are welcomed by this. We've got the Explorer logo popping onto the screen, and same thing on the cluster. It's a different experience compared to the Pilot. It's a bit more premium. And another thing is that you don't find that many buttons anymore because they have removed them. Now we have this. But first, let's start it up. And here we go. There's a software update, which you can do it now. It is completed. We've got no data around where we are, so forget about that for now. And here we have everything. This is fully touchscreen. You don't get any buttons to control it. You have to use what you have in here. And the climate unit is located right at the bottom. With this package, we don't have ventilated seats. You only have automatic heated seats with 3 levels and heated steering wheel. You can control the actual unit, the climate unit from here. With the Platinum package, you do get ventilated seats. But this one, though, as far as I remember, you do get massage seats. See that? Nice and cool. Look at this. You've got circular cushion. You've got upper rolling and all that. So you can do a lot of different modes that I'm trying to do. There you go. And you've got them with different levels. Now for long trips, this is going to be nice and handy. It's also for the passenger. Look at that. Something you don't find in a Honda Pilot. Is that cool? Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty nice. You can change the settings. Oh, man. This is nice. Actually, I'm going to keep it on as we're doing this. Going back into the main menu. First thing you notice, the user interface is a bit more premium in this vehicle. You got a lot more settings because this, it's, well, let's just say Android based. And you can see it right in here. It does have, oh, look at that. Oh, no, that's the wrong vibe. Look at it. Look at that. We've got YouTube right here, and I don't even have data on my phone, but this one has that. There's games in case if you're waiting for your wife, she's shopping around, or your husband going to check out some cars. The weather channel is right in here, so you have access to the weather. So a lot of apps that you'd find in your phone. Now, what about 360 camera? With this package, you get that too. You also get extra views. Same thing with the Honda Pilot. and this is a much larger screen. And I think it's time for me to turn off my massage seats because they're making weird noise. Here we go. One thing that I would like to add about the Explorer, because I've been driving this for the entire week, it's these little things over here. I noticed the other day, because I had the heat on for a while driving, these things got really hot, and honestly, if I had stayed longer in the car, these things would have burned my finger. So that's one thing I can complain. The Hondas are a little bit more extended out, so they don't get as hot, but these are very short, so I'd say this is probably not the best design. Having said that, you do get some buttons over here, the park mode, so it does self-parking. You've got some buttons for the camera, the park assist in this, and then we've got the traction. And underneath that, we've got a wireless charging pad. Beside that, we have another spot for the second phone, but unfortunately you can't have 3 phones with this one. Underneath, we got more stuff. You can hide your phone, your wallet, keys, whatever. One of the things that I appreciate about this car, it's the steering wheel. I love this. It's grippy. It's quite nice. It's very nice to drive and very easy to use. I love the little touches like that. We've got some buttons here, cruise control. That's for your menu, which is nice. And you can adjust this the same thing as the Honda. But this one, you've got power steering column. And there's no heads-up display, but you do have a digital screen. You get a touchpad on the side here on the pillar, and you enter a code and you lock the vehicle, throw the key inside, and you're good to go. That's something you don't get with the Honda Pilot. Okay, so what do we have under the hood of this beauty? This is a V6 naturally aspirated engine, and it makes 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. It is all-wheel drive IVTM, which is Honda's all-wheel drive system, which does take some inspiration from the super handling all-wheel drive of Acura. It's not the same, but it's apparently very similar. 0-60, this will do it in under 8 seconds, which is not the fastest out there. Now, the Honda Pilot V6 is not made specifically for horsepower, it's made for reliability, so it will last a long time. Naturally aspirated engines tend to live longer, essentially, tend to be more reliable, but not as fuel efficient. In this case, we have been driving all day today doing rollers, and right now with a bit of a sporty driving, city driving, countryside, pushing it a bit, the Honda is showing me about 16.7 liters per 100 kilometers. We have gotten 74.6 kilometers as of right now total driving, so just under 100 kilometers, which would be about 50 miles of driving. That should give us a good idea. Now that is of course highway, city, countryside, and some sport mode for both vehicles. Towing capacity, this bad boy can tow up to 5,000 pounds, and you can sit between 6 to 7 people. Price, in Canada this starts at about $51,000 and can go up to $65,000 for the Black Edition, which is the one that we have for today's video. In the US, I believe it starts at about 42, it goes up to like $55,000 or so. How does it handle? How does it drive? One thing you notice with this car, when you jump inside, it feels large. It actually feels large on the inside. The power delivery, it's okay. It's not as powerful as you'd expect it, but it does the job just fine. As a driver, you feel comfortable. It's actually sitting low, which I personally prefer in a big vehicle like this one. It's got a good ride, but don't expect anything crazy exciting because you're not gonna find that. Visibility, it's good. It's large on the inside. It's got large windows. The third window is the same. The steering is light in this vehicle, and you can feel that even in sport mode, which I'm right now. You put your foot down, and it may move at some point. It's not the most powerful compared to the 4-cylinder in the Ford, but it does the job just fine. Now, this infotainment display definitely needs an update because compared to the Ford, it feels like this came in 2012 or 2010. It's got driver assistant package. It handles really well on the highway. It's quiet on the inside, not the most quiet out of the two. It still has winter tires. The Ford, I believe it's on all season right now. It's a smooth ride. You put your foot down, it will move. You hear a lot of that engine in this car for sure. In a normal road, well paved like this one, you don't hear much of the roads. It's well balanced. It's a good daily car. And one thing I love about it is inside here, you just throw stuff around and it doesn't really matter. This thing will take it. And it feels like it's built sturdy on the inside. Oh yeah, this boy moves. This boy moves. Now, the Ford uses a 4-cylinder engine. It's a 2.3 liter EcoBoost, 4-cylinder turbocharged. It makes 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. You would do the 0 to 60 apparently in about 6.2 seconds, which it is faster than the Honda. And you feel that you put your foot down, it's impressive what they can achieve with this engine. This thing just drives. In some ways, it feels not the same as the Explorer ST, but similar power delivery. And you hear that engine, like the response is impressive. Big fan of this. Big fan of this. And it's got the power delivery. Now, towing, that's the shocking part. It tows the same as the Honda Pilot, 5,000 pounds. But unlike the Honda, this uses a 4-wheel drive. The Honda is more front-wheel biased. This is more rear-wheel biased for that sporty handling. And you feel that when you go around the corner, especially with this steering wheel, you notice how much sportier this thing is. Like, it's grippy, it's got the nice turning, sharp handling. The suspension, it's also slightly stiffer, so it's not as boaty as the Honda. In fact, I just dusted the Honda behind me. But the power delivery is very noticeable, and you get to enjoy this thing a bit more than the Honda. I would say a lot more, but a bit more. At the end of the day, they're 3-row SUVs. They barely make 300 horsepower, and they're heavy boats. So that's something to keep in mind. But the fun one is this one. The Honda is a bit more chill. It's got nice handling, this thing. It's got nice power delivery. The sound is good. And it's 4-wheel drive. What else do you want? The Fords, in terms of the pricing, in Canada starts at about $54,000. Then it goes up to $69,000. But that's because you're buying this Ford Explorer ST, which is a lot more expensive. And of course, it makes more horsepower. So that's something to keep in mind with Ford. Having said that, you do get quite a nice interior. Like, for example, the steering wheel, it's nice and thick and it's got that sporty style. Then we've got the screen here, which is larger. There's also Android based. And if you don't want that power delivery, you can just put it into normal mode. It becomes a bit more civilized and you enjoy the drive and you're chill. Driver assisting, well, this one comes with Blue Cruise. Now, what is Blue Cruise? Blue Cruise is essentially self-driving, but you always have to look forward. And Blue Cruise, the advantage is that in major highways, it essentially drives itself, and it's got lane assist, so it's a bit more advanced than the Honda, so hence why it costs more money. And I believe you get Blue Cruise even with the base model, which is fantastic.
Hey, so which one do you like more?
I like both. They're both very cool and very unique in their own ways. I like the seating in the Pilot, but I love the power delivery of this thing. It's punchier, and the fact that you can buy the Explorer ST is just even more enticing. Like, they're both great in their own ways, but this one feels like the power delivery is much nicer. The 4-cylinder, it's shocking that it actually makes more horsepower than that out of 4-cylinder. It's a forced induction, so it's turbocharged, so it's a bit different. But this one, I feel like I love how it drives compared to the Honda. The Honda feels more like a a soccer mom SUV. This is just more. It's just more edgy, more refined for handling. That's what I like. But they're both great. I like this. I just can't own another Ford, but this one will be my pick.